Hi, my name is Anders Ertside, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Hegel C-series multi-channel amplifiers. These multi-channel amplifiers is one of the products we probably talk the least about in many of our videos and promotions, but they are nevertheless one of the most interesting and unique ones. A few years ago, we were traveling to dealers around the world, and many of them also sold high-end theaters or high-end multi-channel sound installations. And a common thing we saw that was they used all Class D or digital amplifiers. And while they are very, very good at saving rack space or just being running cool, they didn't quite have the power to drive challenging loudspeakers or big loudspeakers or high performance in-wall or in-ceiling loudspeakers. This whole thing inspired us because our sound engine technology is all about great sound and great dynamics and control of big loudspeakers, but it's also about running cool, using less electricity so you could install our amplifiers in a rack without having to use a lot of rack space just for cooling. So the C-series amplifiers are classic AB analog amplifiers using the sound engine technology. You can get them as a C53, 54 and C55, meaning 3, 4 or 5 channels. You can fit them in a rack, in a 19-inch rack, and they can be stacked with only one U spacing in between them. We have houses with 3, 4, 5 and 6 of these to run like the full house audio, but they do so with a much more dynamic and punchy sound than most of the comparable amplifiers on the market. And one of the reasons behind this is just the ability to drive difficult loads. This amplifier is specified at 150 watts per channel into 8 ohms. It's 300 in 4 ohms and 600 in 2 ohms. That is Class AB analog amplifications. So they're stable in very low impedances. And think if you have yourself invested in a pair of 10,000 euros or $10,000 in-wall loudspeakers and you connect them and you have an amplifier and you can't fully drive them, that is when you need the C5 series of amplifiers. So the C5 technology is based on all the other Hegel amplifiers. Actually, it's a hybrid between the H190, the H400 and the H30A. The layout of the amplifier is very similar to the H30A reference power amplifier. You have the output power of the H190 with 150 watts per channel, but more output devices, more similar to the H400, making it more stable with challenging loads or big loudspeakers. Looking at the back of the C5 series amplifiers, you see that all channels are completely discrete. They all have their own toroidal power supply and so forth. So if you're only using 1 or using 4, you still get the same power output. You have single-ended and balanced inputs. There's also a gain switch between 29 and 23 dB. And there's also a phase switch individual per channel. You can use triggers to power on and off, and there will, in such case, be sequential power on. So you don't overload the power supplies when you switch it on. Speaker outputs for each channel, and that's about it. Here is one of the channels of the C5 series amps. So there's a massive toroidal transformer for each of them. There are big heat sinks to get the heat out, even though with the sound engine technology we use a lot less heat. So there's less heat to come out of the amplifier. And then there are 6 big power output transistors to ensure stability in low loads. And you have the sound engine technology and everything like our integrated amplifiers, except that this is a multi-channel full-on installation amplifier. So you can get the same performance in full house audio or home theater as you get in a dedicated stereo system using the Hegel technology. So that is a quick introduction to the Hegel C5 series of power amplifiers. So the only thing you need to do now is go to hegel.com. You can find your nearest Hegel dealer and you can try to go and audition one yourself.